So in this essay, we're going to be reacting to the Goldman and his look at Phantom Menace. He put out a pretty good essay on Rey and the Mary Sue controversy. And the video essay overall is strong, but I think he makes some good points, but then some very, very bad points. And here we'll focus on Anakin and the Chosen One and compare it to Dune and how prophecy was treated in Dune.
For the audience to fully invest in his character and feel emotionally connected to his struggles. This can make his death at the end of the movie feel less impactful, as we've not given enough of a reason to care about him as a person. Imagine if we learned that Qui-Gon once ignored a prophecy, and because he did so, some tragedy broke. Or maybe his old master studied prophecy character traits makes them important. Having Anakin be the Chosen One also makes the Skywalker family seem holy in a way, and I don't like it. In the originals, Luke was just some kid of some random guy that used to be a Jedi and became evil. But now with the prequels, Anakin is literally the Jesus Christ of Star Wars. He was born without a father, and he was prophesied to destroy.
Well, I agree, the Chosen One trope itself within the prequel trilogy as a whole is pretty dumb. It just did not do what it should have done. It just created a lot of problems, a lot of questions, which were not really resolved, and it really, I think, did a lot of injury to Star Wars as a whole, and George Lucas is just not a great mythologist. He definitely tries to study it and use it, but he's just not at the level of Frank Herbert, who really thought through, okay, if we're going to have a prophecy, how will this operate with the characters? How will this operate with the world? What does this mean to have a prophecy, to have a chosen one, etc., etc. With Anakin, it's just very blatant. It's very, very basic. It's like, oh, he was chosen. He's powerful. That's about it. But I do think Goldman makes a very big error in terms of not seeing through that the prophecy is actually self-contradictory. That aspect of destroying the Sith is not in Phantom Menace. It's something that just comes in Revenge of the Sith. It's just given. They're not explaining why or how that changed. Again, in Phantom Menace, all that said is Anakin will bring balance. Does not talk about him destroying the Sith explicitly. This is something just made up out of nowhere and really creates a lot of problems with the prophecy. So here we're going to disagree with him on what this means for later scenes or later parts of the story with Star Wars.
Filling the prophecy of destroying the Sith. Even before The Rise of Skywalker came out, I still hated the prophecy because that would mean that every time a Sith appears after Return of the Jedi, then people were going to complain that the Chosen One prophecy was ruined. But of course, with Palpatine's return in The Rise of Skywalker, people are saying that Vader's sacrifice was ruined because Palpatine returned. Now, I'm not here to defend Palpatine's return. I hate it, but when people say Palpatine's return has ruined Vader's sacrifice, I get triggered beyond belief. The stupid-ass Chosen One prophecy was not once mentioned in the original trilogy, and Vader's sacrifice was recognized as a great scene. It is still my favorite scene, but because it was said a few times that Anakin was destined to destroy the Sith in the prequels, the original trilogy is now ruined? That logic.
Well, I would go much further that it doesn't matter. Like, once you radically change the prophecy that they did with Revenge of the Sith, who cares? Like, almost nothing really matters now because such a central part of the lore has just been altered, and presumably the Force will just work its will and get rid of Palpatine. And again, I'm not defending Rise of Skywalker. All I'm saying is it doesn't really alter anything because, again, it's now just a minor detail. Who destroyed the Sith? Well, originally it was Anakin. But no, it wasn't Anakin. There was nothing about him destroying the Sith in the first place. Now there is. It's like, okay, fine. Anakin destroyed. Oh, no, it's going to be Rey and Kylo. Well, which is it? It doesn't matter. The Force is doing everything now. The Force is willing something to happen. It will happen, and that is the will of the Force, and that's it. That's the story. Why doesn't the Force just get rid of Palpatine in the first place? Why does it just directly do that? Who knows? The Force is just the Force. And then we contrast this with Dune. Yes, there is a prophecy, but again, the status of the prophecy is controversial. Who is Paul? What does it mean to be a Messiah? What is a jihad? Again, these things are debated and discussed. There's controversies. There are different sides. There's a much more sophisticated approach to it. Also, there's a big possibility all of this is a delusion. Even though Frank Herbert is very serious about religion, he's not committed to a theistic universe. Technically speaking, everything in Dune could be atheistic. There could be no larger purpose. We can speculate there are cosmic entities in the Dune universe, but we don't really know. So it could just be a complete set of acts. In Star Wars, we're not given that option. It's completely theistic from the very beginning, It's even theistic in the original trilogy. So even though there's not the prophecy, it's definitely a very theistic universe. And I think that's the mark of bad fiction. You can put in a political message and even make it explicit. But once you ontologically force your audience down a certain path, you're showing you don't have a lot of confidence in the storytelling. You're sort of just preemptively answering questions which should be left as a question mark. So I'm stating the obvious. Dune is just a better fiction. It asks these questions, but in a much more sophisticated, advanced manner. And Phantom Menace is fine. Again, the prophecy is not contradicted there, but as we keep going, the prequels just seem to they just create these cosmic contrivances for no reason, and that really saps the energy of the story and really created a lot of structural problems for Star Wars. But I don't think we can blame this on Phantom Menace. It's really just George was very lazy with the prophecy and did not think it through properly.